Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Detrás de Cama with Carla Montalvan, yours truly. If you have been enjoying the last couple of episodes, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, to follow, send me your comments, send me your questions. We have a ton of fun talking to our followers and talking to people who really benefit from this podcast. So if you have been liking it, suit yourself. Give us a little like, a little heart. Tell us your grievances. We're here to hear it all. But today, we're here to answer questions from the audience. And I have one question that I really like, which is what to do when a partner continues to push or disrespect your boundaries. Aha, here we go. Are you ready for this, Miguel? I'm ready. I'm ready to answer this. So I think one of our biggest issues in our sex life and in our relationship is that sometimes we don't communicate or ever communicate with our partners, with our sex partners, with our friends, with our family members. And it's not, I know it's like it's kind of like a keyword. Oh, I'm setting boundaries. I'm so empowered. I'm empowering myself because I'm setting boundaries. But there's a difference between setting a boundary and upholding a boundary. And let's unpack that. Setting a boundary. For example, let's say that for you, a boundary and we'll set one up outside of bed and then we'll set one up in bed. Say a boundary for you outside of bed is that you want your time to be respected. And what do I mean by this? Well, when I'm spending alone time, I would like for no one to bother me. Okay? That's setting a boundary. That's a pretty simple boundary, right? You set the boundary, but then your partner comes in and doesn't care when you're having alone time. They walk in, they do their thing, they're asking you to do favors for them. And that's, infringing on your boundary. How do we uphold the boundary? Let's say you've already set that boundary. When I'm alone, I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want to be bothered. I want my time to be respected. Okay, great. When your partner comes in and does all of these things, instead of saying, oh my God, because I told you that I don't want you to come in, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I asked you that when I'm alone, I don't want to be disturbed. Please respect my boundaries. And this is where we really teach people that we're serious about boundaries. Now, in bed, especially from heterosexual women, cis women, I hear that one of the biggest issues, for example, is being pushed toward having anal sex when you don't want to have anal sex. Let's face it, not everybody loves it. If you don't have the right preparation, it can be painful. Still, there are partners that don't necessarily respect those boundaries for us, right? And I remember, and I'll give you a little bit of my personal anecdote. I had a partner for many years. I think we dated for 6-7 years, on and off. And he always really wanted to have anal sex, and I personally don't love it. And it was always just pushing my boundaries and me saying, oh no, and him saying, well, maybe you should try it. And my other girlfriends have tried it. And at that time, I didn't have the emotional intelligence or sort of, I would say, the self-confidence to stand up for myself and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to do this. And that's it. It's a non-negotiable. This isn't my boundary. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. Stop asking me to do it. Right? And it wasn't until basically it just stopped even being a conversation in our relationship, which I wish it would have been a conversation. Hey, this is why I don't like it. And these are some alternatives. So what you can always do with your partner, if you're choosing a loving way, and I'm always gonna sort of guide you towards choosing a kinder way of talking to your partner. Because at the end of the day, we don't see relationships lasting so long nowadays because people, they're not connecting with each other. They're not talking to each other. They are so focused on, I want this and you want this, but we don't come together and we compromise, or we don't come together and we talk about why or understand each other, that we lose that empathetic side. So if you have a partner that's pushing your boundaries, it's more than likely that somebody is pushing their boundaries too. It's more than likely that that person doesn't even respect their own boundaries and doesn't know how to uphold their own ground. So what we can do in these cases is explain why these things are important to us and say, when you respect my boundaries, when you respect me, I feel loved, I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel respected, I feel like I am a participating individual in this relationship. Y de la misma manera, I'm sure that person will be able to tell you how they feel. In bed, a lot of the times our daily life is transferred over, right? So somebody that's pushing your boundaries outside of it is going to come back and do it in bed as well. Or they're going to see that our intimate life and our everyday life is so intertwined. We don't even realize, but it's so intertwined, and so many things that happen outside of it happen inside of it. So if you really want your partner to start respecting your boundaries, giving you more of that empathetic view, having a more kind relationship with you, it needs to start with you upholding those boundaries outside of it and getting into that feminine energy or masculine energy, depending on who you are, and seeing how you can channel that in a way that the other person is reciprocal to it and understands it. And if that person doesn't understand them, then I would say, consider, if you really want to be in a relationship with someone that does not respect your boundaries, that does not respect who you are, what you want, and where your limits are. Because at the end of the day, we want people that will meet us where we are and will help us grow, not people that will meet us where we are and simply try to break down our barriers. So if this was helpful to you, and I hope it was, leave us a comment, let us know, and share your own experiences or how you've dealt with people that have broken your boundaries before, and how you solved it or didn't solve it, what worked, what didn't work. We're always open to hearing. Until next time.